Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the April 6th Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will take a moment and look this over. The question is, what do I need most right now? And the passage begins with a person saying that she used to really dislike Sundays. I'm guessing it's a woman. I don't know that for sure. This person says their husband wasn't home on Sundays and they were worried about where their husband was. And then this person realized that they could do anything they wanted with that time. So they made themselves a sandwich exactly as they wanted it. And then they savored that sandwich on their back porch. And from there, this person realized that there were other areas of their life that they had been neglecting, and they started enjoying those areas too for 15 minutes, an hour, or an entire afternoon. Today's reminder: we focus on ourselves and we learn what we enjoy. We don't need to obsess over others. We have plenty to keep ourselves busy just with ourselves. And the quote is from Hope for Today. We can ask what we need right now when we get lost in time. So the question is, what do I need most right now? Can't think of anything that I need right at this exact moment, but I can tell you that an hour ago I needed to take a nap, and that's what I did. I don't often take naps, but I just sat down to rest and I fell asleep. So that was my body's way of telling me that I needed a little nap. So that's what I did. I took a little nap. I will take a moment and look this over. This passage is about accepting alcoholism as a disease. It's talking about the symptoms of alcoholism, like the symptoms of a common cold, and how being around an alcoholic can make us behave in ways similar to the alcoholic. And these behaviors affect our relationships and our quality of life. But when we recognize and accept that we have been affected by a disease, we begin to recover. We discover self-worth, love, and spiritual connections. Al-Anon helps restore us to sanity. We didn't choose alcoholism, and either did our loved ones. So we can have compassion for each other, or we can have compassion for both of us. Today's reminder: when we accept the disease, we turn to sources of genuine help and hope, which is Al-Anon and our higher power. And the quote is from So You Love an Alcoholic. When we really think of alcoholism as an illness, we are left with no reason to be ashamed, no reason to fear it. I think that the one thing that makes me feel a lot of compassion for people who have any kind of substance abuse is that they're not, like, they are in the grips of a disease. So when I remember that, there's nothing but love and compassion in my heart, because I don't wish that for anybody. Much like this passage says, someone who has some kind of ailment, I have compassion for them too, because they have this thing that they didn't ask for, that they don't necessarily want. They may accept it and be at peace with it, but they certainly didn't ask for it. So that makes me feel a lot of compassion for them. For myself too, I would say. And I think that's good. It's good to be gentle, have gentle thoughts about other people, and it's very, very good to have gentle thoughts about myself. I like the part that says no reason to fear it. And I guess that goes to higher power and trust. Trust and love rather than fear and doubt. But again, it's very Al-Anon. I mean, if there's nothing that you can do about it, you can't control it, then it's better to accept it and give it to our higher power, I guess. I mean, luckily, I'm not suffering from any kind of serious ailment, but I do have like aches and pains. I'm 56. I don't know if all 56-year-olds or most 56-year-olds have aches and pains, but I've been doing like lots of different movements during the day to help with the feelings of achiness and discomfort, and those help quite a bit as long as I don't overdo them. Example, I went to my doctor's a while ago, and because I went into medically induced menopause when I was 39, I was told that I would most likely have issues with bone density as I got older. Well, fast forward, And now I indeed do have issues with bone density, and the recommendations from when I was 39 to now have changed. So although I've been following my doctor's recommendations all along, those recommendations have changed. So there was a time when my doctor told me not to take calcium, and now my doctor says, oh, you absolutely have to take calcium. So that's just one example. But my doctor told me fairly recently, a few months ago, like in maybe November, that it was, in fact, I think it was November or early December. He told me that the most recent research is that doing something like Zumba is good for bone density. And so I started doing like a Zumba based, it's not called Zumba, but it's something similar called La Blast. I started doing that 5 days a week. And what happened was that it's like a 48-minute session 5 days a week. What ended up happening is that my hips started to hurt. And then I looked up online and what was the recommendation? And it actually said like 3 days a week, like for a certain amount of that. I was doing it way too much. And um, so I've cut back on that. So I don't know why I went off on that, except that, like, I don't know. For me, it's like no reason to fear it. Like, I'm doing what I can. I'm not sure that I'm doing what's right, but I'm doing what I think is right now. I'm trying not to overdo it. I'm trying to find that balance always. Not too little, not too much. I just took a nap, so I don't know how much else I'm going to get done today. That, and so it goes. We just take it one moment at a time, and step by step, we just try to do the next right thing. And that's all we can do, is what's in front of us. We'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.